then we have usually 1-year master's program. That's general, but we also have 2 years master's, especially for engineering students. For the professional degree, they can do MPhil or PhD, which can take between 2 to 5 years, depending on the subject. Role of Education USA, we provide accurate, comprehensive, and current information to students who wish to go to US for their higher education. So basically, our role is to create a bridge between US universities and Bangladeshi students. We assist the US university reps by arranging seminars, information sessions, or we have them contact with local educators. We usually provide a list of universities or schools with email address and phone numbers and address, so it's easier for them to contact. We make brochures, DVDs available that we receive from US universities available for students' use in our library. We provide up-to-date resources received from US universities to local institutions and contacts. We help Bangladeshi students better prepare for US admissions through resources and services available at the American Center and at the EMK Center, which we recently opened about a year back, where it's actually in the hub of the downtown Bangladesh, and it's actually called Education City there. So we opened a center where Education USA is very much active. We promote US education through continuous seminars and workshops. We have seminars on how to prepare a college application package, how to fill out common application. We have seminars like how to prepare for US admission essay, and we also have workshops which we started conducting probably a year back on GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, and SAT1. We also, it's probably 6 months to 8 months back, we have started a new initiative. It's having webinars with US universities. So we have successfully done around 4 to 6 webinars so far, and we have some universities lined up who will schedule webinars with us very shortly. We also provide local contacts to US university reps. We have a huge database, and we have a very active counselor and teachers network. So we can certainly put a US university rep with this educators. Why recruit from Bangladesh is basically, there are many reasons. Personally, I think that Bangladeshi students are very much eager to go to US. We have a hardworking and sincere pool of students. English is a mandatory subject in national curriculum. So, from kids' age, basically English is a subject that we need to learn. So English is moderately understood. Most high schools and university students understand basic English. I mean, they may not be able to speak fluently, but they understand the basic content. Both public and private universities usually follow 4 years bachelor's degree program, so that's usually in line with the US bachelor's degree. So that's really a benefit. There's familiarity with US system, credits, majors, liberal arts. Usually the private universities will follow an American-based curriculum, and medium of English in both private and public universities is English. And as a result, the transition to US institutions can become easy for students. We have a large number of students going abroad, not necessarily only to US, but other prominent countries that are active players in this field are certainly UK, Canada, Malaysia nowadays, and New Zealand. These are the countries that are very much active, and they are vigorously recruiting Bangladeshi students, but somehow we feel that US is missing out. We have a growing population, and that means there are more U.S. high school graduates seeking university admission, and you know that compared to the population and the number of universities we have, it can be sufficient number of education institutions to meet the demands of such a large number of students. As a result, many students turn to U.S. or other countries for their as an option to seek higher education. Increased incomes from improved economy and globalization of marketplace makes U.S. credential more valued. So usually in our job market, North American degree is actually very much valuable, and we have a long history of international graduate study in U.S. We are having increasing interest shown by undergraduate students. So many undergraduate students nowadays are showing interest to go to U.S. for their higher education. We have U.S. students and scholars. Bangladesh can be considered a lab for development. We are a pioneer in microfinance. We have rapid social change, increased migration, emerging economy is certainly playing an active part, increased industrialization sector, especially in garments, power plants, environment and infrastructure development. Of course, in IT field, it's going very high. Public-private partnerships with NGOs and government, and it's moderately an Islamic country. It can be role model for other developing nations. Increasing participation of women in politics, economy development, and women are actually getting more involved into job sectors, politics, etc. U.S. students and scholars, again, we have familiarity with U.S. education system. English is the medium of instructions in most universities. So students in university level basically understand English. Again, they may not be able to speak fluently, but their comprehension level in English is understood. Private universities are very tuned to U.S. system of education, and with modern facilities, internet libraries, we are pretty much equipped with this facility. There are some recommendations for successful recruitment. We host past 3 years. We have been hosting South Asia Fair. That means quite some universities have come to Bangladesh, and more than 3,000 students attended the fair that we've been hosting for last 3 years. CIS fair took place last 3 years, and these universities actually visited in Bangladesh in the capacity of CIS Fair or South Asia Fair or independently. So you can see the list who have come to Bangladesh. And the universities that are highlighted in royal blue actually came to Bangladesh more than once. And even past few months, we had quite few reps visited Bangladesh, and when we hosted sessions, or we had a very much full house session. Another very good initiative we have started recently, I think 4 to 6 months back, is hosting webinars with U.S. institutions, and usually we have about 30 to 40 students on average for each webinar. We had webinars with the following universities: Heidelberg University, we had 2 webinars. We had St. John's University, we had University of Houston, Rutgers universities, and some are lined up are Tulane, Mount Holyoke. So this also a field that we are very much interested, and students also enjoy being in touch virtually with U.S. University reps. So this is something that we are very interested to host. Some successful recruitment strategy is when like student alum, Bangladesh student alum can be very good networking tool to recruit for recruitment. So this university, there are the Bangladeshi students, so the students very active in campus. So the notion of turning to senior brothers or senior classmates is very prominent in Bangladesh. So students, when they choose universities, they look for universities where their Bangladeshi students have gone previously, or where they have friends, or where they have senior mates, So this can be an effective tool by promoting Bangladeshi students in U.S. institutions' campuses. Another success story, some universities have come more than once, like Lamar University. Then we had Emporia State University, where they received quite many applications from Bangladesh, and those were effective applicants, and they are seeing growing number of Bangladeshi students into their campuses. So and one of the strategies one university did was if EducationUSA advisor recommends a student, then the student would qualify for 50% of tuition waiver. So that strategy really worked for Bangladeshi students. Many students found out about this, and they wanted to apply to that particular campus. So these are only some recommendations for our higher education institution colleagues. Some points to make: it's TOEFL, IELTS are both available in Bangladesh, and but students' tendency is to take more IELTS, mainly because IELTS can be used for other countries as well. I mean, they also take TOEFL, but the number of students taking IELTS is actually more. There's a recent surge of interest in taking standardized tests, and all the test centers basically in Bangladesh are full for SATs, TOEFL, and GRE. It's really booked till January of 2014, and this is the first time we are seeing this surge of interest. And that means that we expect to have many more Bangladeshi students applying for U.S. universities this coming year. Many students are becoming interested in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. Students are coming and inquiring about these fields, and when they're applying, we pretty much see that they are choosing these fields. So that's a trend that we have noticed. And also, recently in graduate level, more students are interested in master's level than PhD. We are just seeing this trend probably for last 1 year, that more students are becoming interested in master's than PhD, and what they prefer is they do master's first before they apply for PhD. So these are some of the trends that we are seeing, and certainly if you have any question, we are available to answer, and anything else that we can help you out with, or any questions, we are open to take questions. Currently, we are preparing to promote International Education Week. That's upcoming. So, EducationUSA Bangladesh is preparing a range of programs to promote International Education Week. That's coming.
Kathleen, I hope they could hear our presentation clearly.
Hey guys, this is Marty Bennett from EducationUSA DC. How you guys doing?
Hi, Marty.
Hey, sorry I just jumped into your presentation halfway through. Kathleen asked me to jump in and just in case you got kicked out of her connection, make sure the recording kept going. Can you guys talk a little bit about the South Asia fairs that you guys have been a part of the last 3 years? And I know you mentioned that briefly, but can you talk about the kind of turnouts you get, undergrad versus grad, common majors, that kind of thing that show up?
Okay, the first year we had this, we had more than 2,000 students attended. It was extremely overwhelming. So what we did is second year we kind of controlled the fair, and third year as well, in order to manage the crowd control. Basically, we had a mix of undergraduate and graduate students. And the major, pretty much, I would say, students who are interested in engineering major, followed by, in fact, STEM field, I would say, is actually in rise for last year. So we're seeing business, but not that much, but STEM field is actually the focus at the moment. But this year we also had the fair in Shillong, which is the next city after Dhaka, and it was quite successful. We had 1,000 fair this year, so we are very happy. We had a great turnout, and we look forward to host it again next year.
Thank you. Yeah, I've heard some very good things from reps, so thank you for helping out with that question.
We want to answer a question from Denise and Kristen. Affordability cost, actually, what I would say, if we divide between undergraduate and graduate students, undergraduate students, most of the students we see can afford, let's say, up to $10,000 to $15,000 easily, and then the rest of the money they seek funding from U.S. universities. There's a group that seek 100% scholarship, but generally in undergraduate level we see students who can fund comfortably between $10,000 to $20,000. And in graduate level, in master's level, again, the groups are divided, but on average, I would say that they can fund between 10,000 and up, probably. And there is some group who seek 100% extension, but they can fund generally. Okay, to answer Kristen's question. Okay, the question, can you see the question? Should I read out the question? Okay, Kristen's question is, we are receiving about 75 applications for undergraduate students from an agent called Euro Education Fair. We are concerned that some of their financial capacity certificates are not authentic. Should we be concerned? Actually, that's an area we're going to shed some light, although we are prohibited on commenting on agents. But generally speaking, agents or consulting firms are mushrooming in Bangladesh. And sometimes even we ourselves, get worried about the standard they are maintaining, the standard of agents, actually, to be very honest with you, fraudulent documents can be provided by students. I mean, it's quite easy to make, but what we would recommend is for transcripts, it's better to get transcripts from the institution, because Bangladeshi institutions pretty much do provide transcripts. And on finances, I mean, you should inquire about their bank statements, their source of income, and all that. But I cannot, we in fact cannot comment on any agents or what they're doing. Actually, there are students who look for online courses, specifically. Can you comment on?
Yeah. Hi, Leonica here. I think there is definitely an interest. We receive a few queries, but I think there's still a traditional aspect that students want to go to a university and learn. The concept of online education is fairly new globally, and approaching education through such technology is still very new in Bangladesh. So I would say it is definitely a niche market. I wouldn't say that most students are extremely interested in online courses. As I said, they traditionally do want to go to U.S. universities to do courses. And also, it's kind of about having the full American experience. Besides academics, they want to, experience life in the States. So I think that goes hand in hand with not entirely wanting to pursue online courses. Do let me know if that sufficiently answered your question, Denise. Great.
Hi, Louis. Yeah, surely.
And Louis, you were a great hit with all our students.
I know.
And everybody absolutely loved Louis. He took so much time to learn.
You're still popular.
Yeah.
Students still come and ask about you. So
absolutely.
Next education fair is scheduled to take place in March or April 2014. Yes, in Dhaka. Actually, we don't do transcript attestations. However, from Bangladesh, and it's been working quite well, students can get transcripts from their institutions, and we don't have that many fraudulent case for transcripts, so we would recommend students that you advise students to take the transcript from their institution, from their respective institutions. এটা চায় না
Hi Denise, just to answer your question whether you have access to our presentation or not, I believe Ms. Kathleen Alum will be has recorded this presentation and she can send you the link. You're free to access that. You're free to access that at any time. And of course, once you're here in Bangladesh, you are welcome to meet with us. We can set up seminars for you, schedule events. You can tour both the American Center Education USA, the EMK, and we can also assist you in visiting some of the local schools and international schools, if you so prefer.
We look forward to having you, Denise. Yes, you can give us an email. You can note down an email and we can coordinate your visit. My email is Jahan, AX, JAHAN, AX @state.gov.
Right, mine is EducationUSA @emk.com.bd. Sure. My email address is edusa@emk.com.bd.
My email address is Jahan, AX, is JAHAN, AX @state.gov.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Please do.
We look forward.
Most popular right now is engineering, followed by pure sciences. then computer science. For grad, engineering again, followed by, I would say, pure science. And MBA, of course, right? So for grad, it's engineering, pure science, and business, MBA mainly.
Sorry, Denise, could you clarify what you mean by certificate?
I don't think the students are aware of this, Denise. We usually don't say this in many students, so I don't think they're aware.
And students here are mostly based on the conventional thinking. They try to get the 4 years pure bachelor's degree after their higher education is done. So they want to go for a pure 4 years bachelor's because even their parents, they understand that the 4 year bachelor's has more prestige and more credibility than others.
Or they go for 2 years master's.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't see that many students who receive conditional admissions. We usually see students with full admission. I mean, we see probably few.
A few.
Yeah, I mean, we do see a few. Conditional admission, these students receive for what? Is this for English proficiency or incomplete degree? I mean, what is the reason these students receive conditional admission? Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, we are not in a position to comment on visas.
Number one. The value of the education is the largest affecting factor in US.
I'm sorry, Heather, we're actually not clear about the question. Can you elaborate a bit? So how can they be a successful student on their campus? Sure. We can be in touch. Okay.
বলেন যে এই জন্য আমরা কাজ করতেছি, আমাদের আমাদের বাড়াচ্ছি, রাইট ওয়ে দেখাচ্ছি এবং প্রিপারেশন আমরা অ্যাক্টিভিটি এ বি এগুলো প্রোভাইড করছি এডুকেশন একটা কমপ্লিট প্ল্যাটফর্ম দিচ্ছি সো স্টুডেন্ট অথেন্টিক ওয়েতে সবচেয়ে ভালো প্রিপেয়ার হয়ে শেষ পর্যন্ত যেতে পারে। এটাই
Heather, just to elaborate on your question, you're getting undergraduates for a while now, but you're struggling to get successful students. But can you just tell us some of the parameters on which you're defining success? Does that mean them completing the undergraduate degree, or not completing, or completing with a low GPA, or maybe, you know, are they just studying and not getting involved in extracurricular activities? Just to brief few words about how you're describing success. I think, Heather, thanks for that question. So your response is difficulty adjusting to the U.S., maybe adjusting to the university. That can definitely lead to low GPAs, understandably, if somebody's disoriented or unable to adjust culturally or academically, it may hamper their studies. I think that's definitely, you know, on our part, what we can do is, for the students that are going out, we can maybe have more one-on-one time with them to better explain. We do a departure orientation with, you know, all the students that want to attend this session. We talk about what to expect culturally and academically once you get to the States. We do understand that, obviously, Bangladesh in itself is very different from the U.S. So we do try to explain culture shock and provide as much of the information as possible regarding what to eat, even what to wear. And they do have opportunities to talk to U.S. alumni and ask them these questions. So besides this, I think it would really be helpful if on the university end there's a strong international student department that really takes time to just meet one-on-one with students. I know when I went there, when I went to the U.S. for the first time, despite having had American friends my whole life, I still experienced a tremendous culture shock. And if it hadn't been for my international student counselor really spending time with me, and even really my resident advisor, then it might have been difficult for me to adjust. I think RAs should also play a huge role for international students, because oftentimes, you may be one or three or four people in the entire dorm who's an international student, and RAs aren't always trained to or equipped to deal with international student queries or culture shocks for that matter. So maybe strengthening the relationship besides international student orientations, maybe spending more one-on-one time with international students from Bangladesh may help. But we'd be happy to think this through more elaborately and provide some more suggestions for you that might be helpful. So that's quite large, Heather. That's fantastic. Are you experiencing this problem only from Bangladeshi students, or is this something that maybe all international students to some extent are facing?
Denise.
Webinar শুনতে কোনো cost নাই। South Asia fair জন্য for South Asian fair, I would recommend to be in touch with Kathleen Alum. She can advise you more on this regard. And for webinars, basically there's no cost involved. We pretty much have a high speed internet connection, so we are hosting that successfully. Quite an interesting dilemma.
That's good to hear. I think you need to be more cooler.
I think mentorship helps. If you have an ideal student, then you can, you can put them together, and they can mentor the students. I think it's definitely more on personality based. I mean, what I can suggest is that you'll see a difference actually. The students who come from Dhaka and Chittagong, then students who come from other parts of Bangladesh, and students who come from outside Dhaka or Chittagong, I think would face more culture shock, and would and probably have the tendency to belong to the group, kind of thing. So I think mentorship would help.
You're welcome.
I mean, we know about it, but Coursera is more actually becoming popular among students. But I know at our embassy, MOCs are actually in the works to get promoted, so. Yeah, so. That's a very good question, Heather. Very surprisingly, we are seeing this trend that all the test centers are booked. No seats for SAT, GRE, TOEFL. So we're still watching this trend. We weren't able to be in touch with the testing provider, but let's see how this sustains. This is the first time we are seeing this upsurge. To this intensity at least. So we're still watching this trend, and let's see. It's in our plan. Talk with them. কই
Okay. Let me just clarify. Denise, your question, do you also reach the U.S. Embassy staff in terms of marketing and advertising education? By U.S. Embassy staff, do you mean American citizens? Because the embassy would have local staff along with, obviously, American staff members. Are you specifically referring to American citizen staff?
U.S. citizen, we have an American International School and also International School Dhaka. These are the only two schools that has international students. So we do send them information, and students go to U.S. from these two high schools. But generally, EducationUSA actually promotes to Bangladeshi students. And of course, we reach out to, again, these two international schools and we share information. Asian woman, Asian.
online course program.
Well,
তো বলো যে প্রমোট করতে পারো বলো তো
Hi, Denise. So reaching the U.S. staff themselves, that's entirely possible. That's not something we've done previously, but it sounds like a really good initiative, and I don't foresee any restrictions, but I think that, if you get in touch with us, we can chalk out a plan on how to approach that for you.
To answer your question, Heather, I mean, there are lots of institutions in Bangladesh that may not be accredited by University Grants Commission or UGC. So what we suggest you do is definitely a student should go to an university which is UGC granted, and you should make a note of that student has to come from a UGC granted institution, because usually those students will be more prepared, and their curriculum is actually more standard. They go through a rigorous curriculum. If you have any such case, then you can send us an email. I mean, we will try to get in touch. And I mean, I cannot readily comment on operating under a stay order. I mean, but we can certainly try to answer your query. So. Again, there are lots of private universities that are mushrooming as well. I mean, to talk about this particular university, I cannot comment on it. I mean, but we usually have not seen that many students coming from this university. Yeah, Heather, I mean, what we recommend is you should accept students coming from UGC accredited universities, I mean, to be on the very safe side. I mean, again, I mean, I cannot comment on this particular university, or I cannot comment on operating under a stay order, but our suggestion is definitely to admit students who come from UGC accredited institutions. Okay.
What usually happens by stay order means the students or any guardian or any third party might have some allegation against the university, and UGC or some other authoritative body might be doing some research on them, or some so if stay order is done on a university, it's better if you can use your common sense to how does the student's portfolio looks, and if you want to make decision regarding on this, that would be better, because though we want to make comment, but we are not allowed to make a comment on any certain university, so it will be only unfair and unjustified.
It's at your discretion,
yeah,
basically.
Actually, it comes on your decision.
And I think if you come across things that may be confusing, to just get first-hand information about it, please do email us, and we can look at it in more depth and get back to you with specifics about what exactly is going on. We can do the groundwork, research work for you from our end. All right, Denise. Hi, I'm Leonica Hanan. I'm the Education USA advisor at the EMK Center.
Hello.
I'm Mashfiq Hassan. I'm Student Advising Outreach Coordinator.
And I'm Arifin Jahan. I'm the Senior Education Advisor at the American Center. Thank you very much for your participation, and please do get in touch with us. Would love to welcome you in Bangladesh, and we look forward to meet with you in the near future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We know that it's very early for you, so thank you for getting up to meet with us and for your interest in recruiting students from Bangladesh. We're here to assist you in any way required. Do feel free to email us. If you want to set up webinars, if you want to visit, whatever is convenient for you, we're absolutely here at your disposal.
And also, if you want to send us any materials from your university, like brochures, DVDs, pennants, we can give you our pouch address, and you can send us your materials. And again, we would love to assist you with anything related to Bangladeshi students or any queries that you might have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
আপনিও ভালো থাকবেন।
Thanks, Louis.
We look forward to having you all in our South Asia Fair that will take place in March.